Great day, everybody. Um, Today I'm going to do an affirmation based on judgment and just kind of clearing judgment out of our consciousness. I probably shouldn't have watched the news yesterday, but I did. So I know that I'm dealing with some judgment as well, and I just hope that this helps us all. So I first was called to look into a scripture that said, "No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God lives in us, and His love is made complete in us." And that reminded me that as long as I'm living a life of love, then I'm always filled with God, and I'm always pretty much ministering God or sharing God with others. When I share love, I share God. So that makes me feel good. The affirmation for today is, I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. And I'll just read this passage. Free yourself from collective consciousness. Many things divide us from oneness: religion, politics, and cultural viewpoints. Having the freedom to choose your religion and vote for whom you believe would best serve our country is a privilege. However, if you find yourself getting caught up in collective belief systems that foster negativity, anger, and even hate, you may begin to feel the negative impact of their collective consciousness. Remind yourself to avoid these systems by telling yourself, I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. This is not to say unity isn't important, but respecting differences is critical to our evolution. This mantra helps you release the negativity. So, just to speak a little bit about the affirmation before we say it. Again, yesterday I should have watched the news. I was finding myself working through some emotions in regards to a lot of comments on people saying, well, she didn't look 16, or when people don't look a certain way, I don't look my age. And it's weird to me that people say, oh, you don't look your age, but you are immediately judged before they even ask you how old you are, or they ask you anything about you. So that's why I really want to work on freeing myself. And if you want to work on it too, we'll set this affirmation. And I do have a question, like, what does a certain age really look like to you? And do you have these beliefs because somebody else has put this thought in, or has it like started through, since you were younger, you started to believe something has to look a certain way for it to be right or wrong or whatever it may be? And I don't know if you guys noticed my shirt. It says, now in God's grace always, but it actually spells out the word nigga. So sometimes I ask people, like, do I look like a nigga, or am I your definition of that? We'll go with this affirmation, guys, because I will go on a tangent. And again, the affirmation is, I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. We're going to say that 10 times together, hopefully releasing these negative thoughts that we may be carrying. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. That's it, unforgiving thoughts. We'll start now. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. I release all unforgiving thoughts supported by the collective consciousness. Great. So I just asked you today to kind of check your thoughts, check your judgment, check your assumptions today before moving forward, and see like which ones may not be as positive or full of love. And that's what I'm going to work on today too. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. And just continue to fill yourself with some love. And if you got to turn off the TV, you may need to do that today. All right, I'll see you guys. Good morning, Tony. I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow.